Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, text number 4. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagara vyaktirmurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham te shavashtitaha. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagara vyaktirmurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham te shavashtitaha. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagara vyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham te shavashtitaha. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagara vyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham te shavashtitaha. Tami. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagara vyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham te shavashtitaha. Maya, by me, tatam, pervaded, idam, this, sarvam, all, jagat, cosmic manifestation, avyaktamurtina, by the unmanifested form, matstani, in me, sarvabhutani, all living entities, na, not, aham, I, teshu, in them, avastita, situated. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. Purport. Supreme Personality of God is not perceivable through the gross senses. It is said, Atakshi Krishna Namadi, Nabraved Grayam Indriyai, Sevan Mukhehi Jivado, Swayam Eva Sparatyada. Lord Shri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538 it is stated, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksadaiva Hridayeshi Vilokayanti. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendent loving attitude toward him. Thus for people in general he is not visible. Here it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyaktamurtina. But actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, his superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet, one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, a king has a government which is nothing but a manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies. And as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vishtabhyaham idam krishnam, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagarabhyaktamurtina mastani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu vashitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Taramane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Kauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Siddharne. So Krishna says that this is inconceivable, that he can be all-pervading everywhere and not be personally present and not be present. So it's inconceivable. So of course we won't be able to conceive of it because it's inconceivable. So why does Krishna even bother to talk about his inconceivable potencies if we can't conceive of them? Well, it's hard for me to say because I can't conceive of it either. But basically speaking, Krishna says he's all-pervading by his energies. And his energies are all non-different from him. And we know that Krishna is conscious of everything that's going on, at least in the form of Paramatma in this world. Because he says, Vedaham samititani vartmanani to Arjuna, pravishami to bhutani mam tu vedana kasyana. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna, I know everything that's happened in the past, everything happening in the present, and everything that's to come in the future. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. So Krishna knows everything. So what does it mean that he's not in them? Well, basically speaking, as the soul is transcendental to this universe, to the material world, so Krishna is also transcendental to the material world. He may be conscious of everything, and by his will, because he's conscious, he allows this material energy to function. In other words, the material nature by itself can't do anything, but by Krishna's will, it's allowed to act in many different ways. And unless Krishna was completely conscious of everything that was going on, there would be injustice. Somehow or another, karma couldn't work unless Krishna was conscious of everything. Because something would happen and there would be no justice to it. You step on an ant and Krishna is asleep and the poor little ant gets crushed and say, where's the justice? Oh, I'm sorry, I was asleep. So maybe the ant can't complain. Take it up to or as they say in America, bring it up to City Hall or something. Tell it to the judge. No, the very fact that Krishna is conscious of everything that's going on means that there can be justice. Otherwise, it's impossible. And only if Krishna knows everything can he actually understand how to perfectly time the reactions to our activities, both good and bad, and also how to give us, reciprocate with us if we perform devotional activities. Not that we went out today and we did Harinam, we distributed so many books, and Krishna was on vacation. And we wondered, well, it didn't seem like there was so much ecstasy, we didn't get any credit for what we were doing. We tried really hard and no one seemed to, even Krishna didn't seem to notice. Then we get a little notice that Krishna was out for vacation. He'll be back in 3 weeks. Then your devotional service will count again. No, Krishna, everything that's going on, Krishna is completely conscious, but he doesn't directly take part in the material activities. In other words, by his will, the material nature can perfectly give us what we deserve, according to what we desire, as well as Krishna can personally reciprocate with us spiritually. And he does that through spiritual activities. In other words, with his material nature, he tells material nature what to do. He set up the material nature and according to certain laws, and he makes sure those laws go on. But for the devotees, samaham sambhuteshu, name dveshu naspriyaha, ye bhajanti tumam bhakta, mayate teshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all. So that's material nature. Everything here goes on perfectly according to the laws of material nature. But for those who are engaged in devotional service, I'm a friend to them, and I'm in them, and they're a friend to them, and they're in me. So for the ordinary person, Krishna is simply watching and giving them what they deserve, just like the judge. Well, Krishna will actually tell us. I don't want to spoil the expense, but I will anyhow. We'll repeat it when we come to it. Vichamatani karmani nibananti dhananjaya udasinadvarasina masaktam teshu karmasu. All this work cannot bind me. I'm ever detached, seated as though neutral. So Krishna is like the judge. The judge, a real good judge, someone comes before him and he judges the case according to the merits of what the person did. He may condemn one person to death because that's what he deserves. Another person may award a huge amount of money because that's what he deserves. But it's not that the judge doesn't like the person or he says, I think I'm going to condemn you to death because I don't like your face. But judge, I didn't do anything. No, too bad. I'm in a bad mood today anyhow. No, the judge is impartial. It's supposed to be impartial. So similarly, because Krishna has no attachment, no aversion, nothing to gain, nothing to lose in the material world, he's completely impartial towards everyone. But for his devotee, he acts in a different way. He's partial towards his devotees. And therefore, there's not 1-to-1 reciprocation. As Prabhupada said, you take one step towards Krishna, and Krishna takes 100 steps towards you. So it's not a 1-to-1 reciprocation. Krishna is partial to his devotees, and he admits it. So on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he promised he wouldn't fight, but then he broke the promise anyhow when his devotee was in difficulty. So you can't really trust Krishna in these matters, especially when he's dealing with his devotees. He can do anything in order to protect his devotee. Therefore, he told Arjuna that you should declare it, because no one's going to trust me after this battlefield. Anyhow, we have some trust in Krishna. We trust that he's going to help his devotees. Whatever he does is for the benefit of his devotees. And in the material world, he's trying to make people into devotees. So everything centered for Krishna, everything centers around his devotees. We're trying to help people become devotees. And if we have that same attitude, then our lives will become Krishna conscious too. So again, Krishna is in every atom. He's in everyone's heart. He knows everything that's going on. For the ordinary person, he's going to give them 100% reciprocation. They're going to get exactly what they deserve according to what they desire. And for this devotee, he may be in their heart, but he's partial. He's going to arrange things in such a way, specifically to help them advance in devotional service. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
So how does this transition happen, or how is it? What are the mechanics behind it when somebody is a devotee and somebody is not a devotee? Like,
what's the difference? One, the devotee surrenders to Krishna, and a devotee never surrenders to Krishna. There are 4 kinds of people who never surrender to Krishna. Those who are foolish, those who are deceitful, those who are atheistic, foolish, sinful, deceitful, and atheistic. They never surrender to Krishna. And 4 kinds of pious people begin to surrender to Krishna. So that's where it is. Those were.
So then, when one of those 4 receives the mercy of devotees, this is clearly the internal energy working. Like, it's not material energy. So then,
material energy, spiritual energy, they're both the same energies. Therefore, when a Kshatriya fights on the battlefield Kurukshetra, then he's considered to be fighting under not necessarily the material energy. If he's doing his duty, it's considered a spiritual activity. But contaminated, mixed, according to his consciousness. So everything depends upon our consciousness. He's doing it dutifully, therefore he's serving Krishna, because the duty of a Kshatriya comes from Krishna ultimately. So he's serving Krishna, but it's mixed. He has other motivations. So it's not pure devotional service. Still, it's a kind of devotional service. Therefore, he gets the benefit from it.
So there's like some in-between period where both are affecting one's...
You haven't noticed that? Are you completely under the spiritual energy right now? What's your experience?
Yeah, like you said, of course I noticed.
Yeah, sometimes we get a little ecstasy and we think we're in heaven. Next moment we're in the modes of nature and we think, where did devotional service go? Did it ever exist? Yeah, so we're marginal. And we're experiencing our marginal tendency. When we try to make advancement in devotional service, we can see our marginal nature. Sometimes we're covered and sometimes we're a little relieved. So hopefully we'll make advancements so that we're less covered and more into the spiritual energy. Anything else? Yeah. Is what?
Bhakta Marcel is asking if justice is material. Is justice material?
No, how can justice be material? Real justice comes from Krishna. In other words, Krishna is the super soul. If justice was material, then he'd be engaged in material activities. Real justice means that the laws of karma is real justice. They're created by Krishna. So justice is also part of Krishna's plan. So we learn our lesson. There's no justice. Krishna didn't create the laws of karma. We'd never make any spiritual advancement. Spiritual means it's in relation to Krishna. And material means that we think there's no relation to Krishna. So when we see things in relation to Krishna, then it's spiritual. So justice without Krishna consciousness is material, and with Krishna consciousness it's spiritual. Just like Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a magistrate. So we shouldn't think he was sometimes in Maya when he was chanting his rounds. When he was doing his service, it was something material. It was all spiritual, because he was spiritual. Anything else?
Thank you, Maharaj, for that class. Just on the point of partiality, Queen Kunti also brings this up in her prayers, and there's there's a very strong statement made by Prabhupada in the purport. He says, "Foolish people think that devotional service is flattering the Lord to get special mercy." So I was wondering, as devotees, we are, as Brahma says, we are earnestly and patiently awaiting the Lord's mercy, all the while offering obeisances. So is it wrong of us to desire the partiality of the Lord, the mercy of the Lord? And just from that statement that Prabhupada makes.
Well, one of the qualities of Bhava Bhakti is samudkanta, ignorance to get Krishna's mercy. And faith that Krishna will give us this mercy. How does it start? Bhakti, first word. Virakta paranusava bhaktir, virakta manashunyataha, ashabanda samudkan, hoping to get the Lord's mercy, asabanda, and eagerness. Yeah, so that's what we're supposed to. But what Prabhupada is saying is that we're not just flattering Krishna to get things. We actually believe Krishna. The devotee actually believes what he's saying. Says, you're a great personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You're so patient. You're standing there for so long. I know you would like to do something else, but you're so patient. No, we're not. He is really patient. Otherwise, how could he really stand there for so long? So we're not just flattering to get something, but the praise is, for a real devotee, the praise is real. It's not an exaggeration. Anything else? All right, thank you very much. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.